Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Beware the Board, a horror podcast where we watch a randomly selected horror movie every single week.
No, we're not. Don't lie to them.
Can you let me finish my
We're
statement?
not watching a movie.
Can
today.
you let me finish what I'm saying?
Sure.
No, it's good now. You just ruined it. You ruined my bit. So now we're not watching a movie.
I
This
did?
week.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
Or no?
Shut up. I hate you.
Yeah, we're not watching a movie this week, guys. You should know the deal by now. We've done this 4 times.
This is the fifth one.
But we're doing the wrap up. So
Yeah.
really, we're gonna talk a little bit about the season, but really, the main thing we're doing here is announcing
The next season's
Yeah.
categories. Yeah.
kind
Which
of
is like fun.
it's a big reveal for us. It's probably the most fun we have on the whole season.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Depending on how bad the movies are.
That's fair, but it's a lot of fun.
No, it is fun. It's fun because it's one of the few things that we keep from each other. Like, basically everything else, except for what Ben puts in the categories, which is like what Ben keeps from me for the actual season, is us sharing information. And this is the one thing where we get to hide something from each other until the right moment, and then we get to reveal it, and we get to basically see if it's good or not.
I mean, that's fair. It's the only surprise I get.
It's true. It is the only surprise Ben gets because Ben always knows every movie every season because he has to build the board. That's his job, not mine, because I don't. Look, if I built the board, we would watch Garbo movies because I don't know what movies are good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, of course, sometimes Ben does put some pretty dog movies on the board. But I think most of the dog movies are saved for holidays.
Yeah.
Some of our holiday movies are not good. Like, I was going through and building, I guess spoiler kind of, but I think we're probably going to announce this soon. We're doing like a big thing for Halloween, and I had to compile a list of every single movie we've seen. Most of the holiday movies are the bad ones. Most of the holiday movies are the bad ones.
Yeah. There's some good holiday movies.
Well,
like,
yeah, Black Christmas,
Halloween.
Halloween. But then I'm just like, man, Night of the Lepus.
Bob's favorite movie.
I like that movie, and I'll stand by the fact that I like that movie. On God, I will.
Okay. You ready to just get into this? Because I want to tell you what my stupid category for this season is.
God damn it. God damn it.
I'm just really excited.
Okay, yeah, well, we let's start talking about the season.
All right. So we had 3 categories this season in order. We had meta slashers, just teen slasher movies from the early 2000s.
Yeah,
Rough.
late 90s.
Rough thing we're calling it, but
Mhm.
that's just what we went with this season. Scream-esque movies,
Yes.
including Scream. Our next category was the random, and that was camp movies.
Ugh.
And it was an unfortunate choice because we had decided to do the Friday the 13th franchise
At the
in
same
its
time.
entirety
Yep.
before we figured out what we were doing for season 5.
Yep. All 12 movies on top of the 3 camp movies we watched, which is like,
Camped out.
yeah, I really don't want to watch a camp film for a while.
And then our last category was space.
Space movies.
Yeah,
That's my
just
pick.
outer space. The only restriction was it couldn't be in the atmosphere.
Yeah, it was
Of Earth.
basically can't be set on Earth. That
But
was
it
the
could be
only
in
thing.
space, on an exoplanet, on a terrestrial planet.
Yeah, spaceship, wherever you want. In space.
Didn't matter.
I wanted to be broad because I was looking for. I did not specifically want alien films. I
Yeah.
wanted general space films.
Essentially, you wanted sci-fi horror.
Yeah,
Technically, I probably could have found something that was space movie and not sci-fi horror,
for sure.
which is weird, but possible. With that being said, favorite and least favorite category this season.
Ooh, favorite category? Ooh, that's hard. We watched some very good movies this season. We also watched some not very good movies this season.
Yeah, I know what my favorite was, though.
Favorite category: space.
Yeah,
Wait, it has to be.
that's mine, too.
Yeah, like
I'm
I
just gonna say
just the caliber of films in space alone was probably overall the best category.
Yeah.
But also, Aliens fucking amazing.
Alien, yeah. It's probably one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, no, Alien like really raises the bar, but also Pitch Black is very good, and so is Pandorum.
Yep.
So I had a really really good time on
It's great.
space.
It's not stuff we see a lot on this podcast so
No,
far.
it's not. And that's what's
so
cool.
Lots of fun there. Least favorite?
I wonder. That's hard, actually.
It's
Well,
hard. It's harder than you think.
It is harder than I think because the problem with the meta slasher category is we watched 4 movies.
5.
5 movies total. Sorry, yeah. I was going to say 4 movies across 2 spots because we watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, its sequel, and then Urban Legend and its sequel.
Urban Legend and Urban Legends Final Cut.
Yeah. And those movies are okay. Like, they're fine. Scream is fantastic. But then in the opposite camp, we have Madman, which is fine. Piranha, which I liked.
I like Piranha.
And
Not
then-
great, but it's fun.
Yeah, I like Piranha. The Burning, which
Yep.
is a really good movie.
Burning's great.
Burning's a great film. So it's sort of in a spot where they're sort of on equal level, but I'm going to say camps solely because I'm camped out. I just can't. Like, I've seen so many camp movies recently. And, like, it's a cool genre, and I get why it was popular, and it's fun and entertaining, but you can only take so much of it.
Yeah. I'm kind of in a similar vein where I think camps was my least favorite category this season,
Yeah.
even though I like that subgenre better
Mm-hmm.
than meta slasher
No, I think I'm in the same boat.
because, like, I mean, first of all, the thing we have to know is we didn't watch, like, 2 of the best camp movies of all time
Yeah.
on the board here.
We watched them separately.
Watch them separately. So I do think that kind of brings everything down a little bit. But also, Scream's just so solid.
Yeah.
And that's a good watch. And while I don't necessarily like that early 2000s slasher movement too much, like, I think Scream's great, but the other movies are kind of meh.
They're fine.
They were kind of fun to watch because they're
Yeah.
not normally something I go out of my way to watch. And so I think that just brings them up a little bit more. So yeah, least favorite's camps.
Yeah.
Don't sound too disappointed.
No, it just sucks because, like, if we hadn't, can you imagine if the camp movies had been Sleepaway Camp, The Burning, and like Friday?
Oh, it would have been so solid.
Banger.
Probably
We'd
would have been
We'd already seen 2 of
the
them.
best category on this board.
Probably, yeah.
Because, like, Alien is still, like, probably the best film, but,
Yeah.
I guess let's do least favorite, best for each category, and then we can do it for the whole board. I think it should be pretty obvious, though.
Yeah.
Let's start with meta slashers. What's your favorite and your least favorite spot?
Ooh, spot. So not individual film.
Yeah.
Because one of those films,
You can tell me film afterwards, but
Okay.
let's start with spot.
for Meta Slasher, Scream is number 1.
Best?
Has to be.
Yeah,
I-
that's me too.
Scream's fantastic. It's one of my favorite films we've watched in a while, and I had a really good time with it. And I think, and I said this on the episode, it's just so head and shoulders above the rest of the films in the category.
No,
And-
I told you that from the outset.
yeah,
Is it Scream and then the Scream wannabes?
yeah. No, it's so good. Least favorite spot? That's tough.
I don't know. I think it's pretty
Really,
evident.
because here's where I'm having a problem. The spots includes the movies and their sequels.
Yeah.
And I Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't like its sequel. I don't like Urban Legend that much, but I like Urban Legends.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough. Least favorite, I'm gonna go with Urban Legend. That spot, while I like the sequel, the first film is not the greatest, and I think I Know What You Did Last Summer is better overall, even though I think the sequel is worse than the sequel in the other one.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard.
I'm in the same boat as Bob, almost identically, where I really like I Know What You Did Last Summer, but I don't like its sequel.
Yeah.
I don't really like Urban Legend all that much, but I like Urban Legends better.
Yeah.
However, I'm going to say the Urban Legend spot was worse because of the issue with, like, the central themes.
Yeah.
Like, the first Urban Legend movie is very Urban Legend focused.
Mm-hmm.
And while I don't necessarily like that film as much as its sequel because of some, like, characterization problems, it has a very clear idea of what it wants to be.
Yeah.
It's very meta, and I like that, even if I think there's other issues with the film. But then the sequel, while I think it's a better film, kind of abandons that premise,
Mhm.
and because it's a sequel, I think that's an issue. And so,
No,
like,
that's fair.
cohesion-wise, I think there's an issue overall that
Mhm.
I Know What You Did Last Summer doesn't have as a spot.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Worst film then. Because best is Scream, obviously.
I still Know What You Did Last Summer. I don't like that movie that much. Like, it's fine overall, and I think we said this on the episode. I don't hate it, but it could have been so much better.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat. I think it's I still Know What You Did Last Summer. It's between Urban Legend and I still Know What You Did Last Summer. But Urban Legend has a lot of good points.
Yeah. No, that movie has some high moments.
I still Know What You Did Last Summer. It's just hard. It's a
Yeah.
hard watch because it's just like the first movie was pretty tight.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the second best Scream-like film
Yeah.
besides Scream and anything else in the Scream franchise. And so to have the second one be just like so generic
And not a whodunit at all, basically.
with kind of not great characters.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Mm-hmm. Especially
So-
because Jack Black's in it.
Yeah. Oh, Titus.
I couldn't believe it when I saw him on screen. I about lost my mind.
I can't believe you didn't notice our main man.
Yeah, that one's upsetting too. I'm gonna be honest.
It was bad.
In retrospect, I'm like, damn, I'm stupid.
Moving on, though. Next category is camp movies. This one's easy because, one movie per spot. Favorite spot?
You think I'm gonna say The Burning, don't you?
Are you going to say Piranha?
I'm gonna say Piranha.
Yeah, I knew it.
I like Piranha.
I know you like. You
I
just
like Piranha.
You just like B movies, Bob.
Yep, there it is. That's my thing. The Burning, overall, a better film than Piranha, and I get that. It has much tighter characters, much better, overall story, much better, much more cohesive and put together.
Young George Costanza.
Young George Costanza, but god damn it, I like Piranha.
That's fair.
That movie is so. The thing about that movie is, A, it's a B movie, which has its own charm and elements, right? But also, I just think the concept of piranhas killing people like that is awesome. And I love, even though some of the gore is inconsistent, I love the high points of that movie when you get to see people just get annihilated by piranha.
That's completely fair.
And also, I think it's very, very funny. Mr. Dumont, hilarious character. The guy who owns the resort, incredible. I can't even remember his name. But yeah, Piranha's I like Piranha.
Okay. I think my favorite movie is probably The Burning.
Totally fair.
Just because objectively,
get it.
I think it's a better film. I think Piranha's a lot of fun because it's a B movie. But it is very much one of those films where after the first time you watch it, I think a lot of the enjoyment is who you watch it with
Fair enough.
and kind of like the experience you have watching it. And so while I had a good time now, I'm not sure how well that would hold up if I was just watching it by myself. Versus The Burning, it's just pretty solid overall. It's a funny movie on purpose and not because I'm laughing at it.
Sure.
Besides that, it's just pretty decent overall. Except for some stuff at the end. It's a really solid movie.
No, yeah, and I think we talked about in the episode, the problems that come at the end just look like slight oversight issues with filming.
Or budget stuff.
Or budget stuff. So it's I can't really fault them because they did the best they could with what they had. So,
Yeah. Least favorite? I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point.
Yeah.
Madman? Yeah.
Even though I don't think that's an awful movie. It has problems.
I don't think it's awful. It just has a lot of problems.
It has a lot of problems. But I get why it's considered a cult classic. People like it.
Yeah, there's some really good parts of that movie.
Yeah, for sure.
There's just a lot of problems. And it's kind of sad, honestly.
Yeah, man.
It's when the high parts of that film are pretty decent.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure.
And then there's just some issues. Some of them are great. They named a character TP. Why would you ever do that?
I don't know why you'd ever do that.
It's funny, though.
It's funny. And I think that's probably most of that episode is you just making TP jokes.
They only left 2 in.
I only left a couple in. Because, Ben, they got egregious.
I know.
And there were some of them where I wasn't to include them, but it would be your TP joke just followed me by going, shut the fuck up. And I was like, I can't include
You really
6 or
should
7
have
of those.
Included those because those are very funny.
Ben, they're 10.
I know.
Couldn't have done it.
Would have been
It
funny.
would have been too much.
Funny for me.
Funny for you, but maybe not the audience.
All right. Last category though is space. Favorite of the season. Favorite movies, Alien, right? I don't think we need to
Yeah, it's Alien.
talk about that really too much. It's great.
Yeah, no, Alien's fantastic.
It's just fantastic. Love that film.
Great movie.
Least favorite though, that is a more interesting question.
That's hard because all of the movies in this category are good.
Oh yeah.
Really good, actually. And I had a really good time with them. Ooh, that's so hard. I hadn't really thought about it until just now.
It's really hard. I think I have my answer if you want me to go first.
Okay, go for it, because I'm struggling.
So, I was kind of playing this around in my head because Pitch Black and Pandorum are very different movies.
Yeah, very different
They're
films.
going for very different things. However, I think Pitch Black is the better film.
Really?
Yeah. It really comes down to the fact that I think the sci-fi in Pandorum is a lot cooler. It's a lot better. And overall, if we were going for just sci-fi elements, Pandorum would stand head and shoulders, I think, above Pitch Black.
Mm-hmm.
What it really comes down to, though, is Pitch Black has a lot of love and care in the cinematography and the setting.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. That just, I think, really gives it that edge. And so, I'm not saying I hate Pandorum. In fact, it's one of my favorite sci-fi horror movies ever, but I think Pitch Black beats it out just a little bit.
Really?
It's a little bit more approachable.
No, that is fair. That's a
There's-
very much more a much more approachable film.
There's cool creatures,
Yeah.
identifiable actors, a well-rounded cast of characters. Again, they're very, very different films, but I mean, just objectively, I think Pitch Black's just a little bit easier
Okay.
to get into.
I've decided I'm on the opposite side of the
You gonna
boat.
switch it up?
I decided that before you gave your answer, but your answer makes me realize why I think this more. And it's because I think Pandorum overall has a more atmospheric, like slow
Burn.
burn, and
Yeah.
I like that in films a lot. I mean, that's why I like The Exorcist, you know? Like those atmospheric films like that are something that gets me every single time, and that's why I like Pandorum. And also the ending of that film, like holy shit, the ending is so good.
Yeah.
And that's something that like I have to applaud in a film that's such a slow burn, because if you get to the end of a slow burn and it's not worth it, it doesn't feel good. But that movie does it so well. And also like Pitch Black is basically a sci-fi action horror movie.
Yeah.
And like that's cool and I like that. Like it's fun. But when I'm coming into sci-fi as a genre, there are tons of sci-fi action movies.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of sci-fi psychological thriller stuff like Pandorum tries to do, and I can applaud that and I really appreciate it.
That's fair, and I think you're completely right. For me, it was more that perspective of, I like these films about the same,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm kind of just looking at which one's probably more approachable for a general audience.
No, that's totally
because
fair.
that's really what this section is. It's a final recommendation. So
Mhm.
I'm saying, like, if there's one film out of those three you're not going to watch, maybe Pandorum, because I can't guarantee you'll like it.
No, for sure, and I get why some people probably wouldn't like it.
But I can pretty much guarantee you'll probably like Pitch
Oh yeah,
Black.
I mean it's Vin Diesel. Like,
And there's just
Come on.
characters in it,
yeah.
you know? On that note, though, I think we're good, right? No, we got favorite movie overall and least favorite movie overall.
Ooh,
Favorite movie overall, Alien, right?
I don't know.
Are you going to say Scream?
I don't know.
Bob, if you say Piranha, I'm going to walk over there and slap you.
That's the funny answer. No, that's hard. That's really hard because I like
Alien's the best movie.
we said this on the episode. That might be the best film we've seen on the podcast.
But is it your favorite
overall?
movie?
That's the thing. Like Alien's sick. It's cool. It's atmospheric. It's slow. It has a really sick monster. It has some really awesome, shocking moments. But Scream is fun.
Hey, Alien's fun, too.
Fun in a scary way.
Look at all those characters getting hugged.
Yeah, man. And that's really, really hard because when I try to pick my favorites, I try to pick the one that I think I had the most enjoyable time with, right?
Yeah,
And I had a really, really fun time watching Scream for the first time.
that's fair.
But also, I really, really, really enjoyed Alien. You know what? No, I'll give it to Alien. I will. I think the big reason I have to give it to Alien is because we talked about on the episode.
Is it the buttons?
It's not the buttons, but that's a good reason actually. On God, it is. It's the sound, I think, for me.
Yeah.
That really kills it for that movie.
You have
And
to go
that's-
watch it again, like loud,
Yeah.
with your headphones on or something.
Mhm.
It'll be a fun experience for you.
Yeah, no. I think that's really the big thing that like throws me over is the sound design and the fact that it's a monster movie and not a slasher. We've talked about it. I don't really find people that scary, but monsters I find very scary.
Especially ones that are gross
Yep. And
or look like
wet.
spiders.
Oh God.
There's just a shriek of you screaming at the face hugger,
Yeah.
and not even while it's moving.
No, I hate it. I hate it.
All right, yeah, it's Alien.
Yeah.
Not even gonna beat around the bush. I love that movie. It's so good.
No, it's really, really good.
Least favorite. I know what mine is.
Yeah, I think I know what yours is too, but is mine the same as yours?
Mine's Madman.
Yep, I knew that was going to be your answer. And I'm trying to decide whether mine is Madman as well or not.
It's just that combination of we've seen so many camp movies, and that one's so generic,
Mhm.
combined with the fact that I just think that movie has a lot of issues
Mhm.
and just boring moments. You know?
And I think I'm in the same boat because while I don't like I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, it had a budget.
And I was laughing a lot.
and it's a
stuff.
funny film
Yeah.
sometimes because it has funny characters. Whereas you watch Mad Men, you go, okay, can you guys get to the murdering? And then you get to the murdering and it's okay,
Yeah.
which sucks because, you're watching a slasher. You're there for the kills. There are some pretty fucking sick kills in that film, though.
There's some good ones, and then there's some bad ones.
Yep. And that's what sucks.
Okay, well, I think it's time, right?
Oh, man. Who goes first normally? Oh, we do the random
We
first.
do the randoms first.
Yeah, do you have it?
Yeah, I have mine, but why don't you give me yours first, because I can add it to the list.
Oh, okay. I mentioned this to Ben, and I think I mentioned it when we watched Scream. I don't remember. Basically, because I know Ben's going to pick some bullshit for this season that is horror. You can't see I'm doing air quotes with my fingers.
It's horrifying.
Yeah, it's a horror, like super horror adjacent or horror like light.
It's
I guess.
adjacent, the horror adjacent.
Yeah, it's like vaguely horror related.
Vaguely.
I did a deep dive and tried to find some of the scariest subgenres of horror. And then I looked at them and said, I don't want to watch any of those. Fuck that.
Bob's too afraid.
Yes. But I did find some cool subgenres of horror that I'm interested in watching.
Mm-hmm. You said you had 2, right?
I have 2, which one is going to go in the random and one is going to go for my actual spot.
Okay.
But I don't know which one I want where. And I'm kind of at an impasse.
Which one do you want to do right now, and which one would you be okay not doing for, like, months?
That's the problem. I want to do them both. But I think I've decided for my random, I want to pick a little old subgenre called splatterpunk. Do you know what that is, Ben?
A little bit, but why don't you describe it to me? Because you were doing research. This is one of the few times you get to be like, hey.
Yeah, so I was reading up on what splatterpunk is. It's essentially this, like, movement from the 80s and whatnot of super duper graphic, violent films that are essentially highlighted by being super sexual and gross and disgusting.
Mm-hmm. You know what that reminds me of?
What?
Toxic Avenger.
Oh, well, I didn't think about that. We could totally that totally fits too.
Too bad it's in the random.
Yeah. And also, like, the big thing about it is it's called splatterpunk because of, like, it's tied to counterculture in the punk scene. And that's something I'm very interested in because I think it'd be really cool to watch some of those films.
Okay. My random.
Oh, yeah, what is your random? I didn't think about this. You get to pick one.
So, I'm kind of in this mindset of I like to put my random as stuff that I wouldn't normally pick because they're kind of generic.
Sure.
And I'm going to kind of keep up with my picks from last time. Like last time I chose Universal Monster movies, right? Old school.
Sure.
Let me keep it up with old school. I'm going to go pre-code movies.
Oh, yo, that's a sick fucking category idea.
So, when I say pre-code movies, I mean mostly like American films. But basically there's like the film codes, which were basically rules about what you could include on screen.
Yeah, I think they were called the Hays Codes.
I don't know off the top of my head. What I do know is they restricted a lot of things. Like you had to have the good guys win.
There's a
Yeah.
bunch of dumb rules like that.
Basically, they had them before like ratings and stuff. So there's a lot of really interesting pre-code movies that are like kind of horror. So yeah, that's going to be my random. You ready? I have the generator pulled up.
Oh, God. Well, yeah, what are we going to get? Oh, fuck.
Pre-code.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was 8.
All right, that's fine.
I could lie and I can make it cannibals if you want.
Please don't do that.
All right.
Pre-code's interesting because it's something that we haven't really done on the podcast yet. Like, pick like an era or a period
Yeah.
and the movies from the period. So
There's
that's
a-
really cool.
There's a good amount of stuff there. I'll have to be careful, though, to not pick things too early
Mm-hmm.
because, like, there's pre-code films, but I still want them to be identifiable
Mm-hmm.
as, like, movies and not, like, super early cinema.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And I also have to avoid some Universal Monster movies
Yeah,
because there's a couple that are pre-code.
Mhm.
Not all of them, but
that's really
I
cool.
might have some of them on there. Just so
That's
you know.
that's a really good category idea.
That'll be fun.
That's a cool one. That's a really exciting one because I also like when we go really far back. Like last season we did haunted houses. We watched a bunch of stuff from the 50s and the 40s.
Yeah.
Super fun films. Had a really good time.
I will say it's kind of I feel kind of bad because this is like the second time I think I've chosen a random and immediately gotten it.
Is it? What random did you pitch?
I don't
before?
remember which season that happened for. I think J-Horror.
Oh
right?
yeah, you pitched J-Horror and then we immediately took it.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's exciting.
I just think it's funny that it happened twice.
Now
'Cause
I don't.
I'm actually being like, I'm using it. So it's very funny that
yeah.
that's happened. And I just want it to be cannibals every time.
I don't want it to be
One of these days, I'm
cannibals.
just gonna pick cannibals for my actual category.
I told you you're not allowed to do that.
I'm allowed to do that.
No, you're
You
not.
just don't want me to.
Stop trying to break the rules.
No, we made that a rule right in the beginning.
I don't remember that.
All right. Well, do you want to tell me your actual category for next season?
Okay. So this is kind of on theme with what we were talking about a minute ago with Universal Monster movies. Everyone knows your classic Universal monsters,
Mm-hmm.
like the Wolfman, the Creature from the Black Lagoon,
Frankenstein,
Frankenstein,
Dracula.
Those are all great. People love classic monster movies. Then there's movies that are like creature features, like Pumpkinhead, or movies where like the creature is really the highlight of the film, right? I want to watch.
Are you going like 50s like sci-fi creature features?
No,
Oh, okay.
I want to watch some neo monster movies.
What do you mean neo monster movies?
So this is something that I knew was going to happen because I didn't know that this was a thing. Neo monster movies is a very broad term, and I'm picking this because I want to watch monster flicks that are not specifically creature features or Universal monster movies or like old stuff like that. Neo monster movies is, and from what I can find online, basically anything that does not fit into the general monster zeitgeist of like, it's not a zombie, it's not a vampire, it's not a werewolf. It's anything that has a crazy weird monster that is like unexplainable or like unique or weird in some way, if that makes sense. Like the big one I saw people saying was The Descent. That's a neo monster movie. Or a movie, I think it's called Animal. That's a neo monster movie.
Okay, so basically a movie that isn't a vampire, a werewolf, a zombie.
Any identifiable creature that you would be like, oh, this fits into this creature subgenre, right? Or this like fits into this genre of creature.
Okay.
That also is not a creature feature or a
Basically something humanoid but isn't a classic
it doesn't have to be
humanoid
humanoid.
monster. I'm looking. They're mostly humanoid.
Some of them are, yeah, sure.
Almost all of them are. I'm looking right now. All right. That'll be weird.
Yeah, that's why I picked it. It'll be weird and fun. And I also like I was saying earlier, I like monster movies. They're fun usually.
It's more weird in the sense of like it's hard to pin down
Mm-hmm.
like what it means per se.
Yeah.
We'll come up with a good definition by the season start, I think, as I look through it some more.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do your research and figure it out.
All right. Are you ready for mine?
What bullshit are you about to pitch?
Oh,
me?
it's some bullshit. I already have my movies picked out.
God
by
damn
the
you.
way.
God damn you.
Okay. Do you want to take a guess at what I could be choosing?
Oh, I have no fucking idea.
I know you want to do something.
How would I ever
I don't
figure
know.
it out?
I'm doing Slurposaurs.
What does that even mean? What is that? You're making shit up.
No.
You're making stuff up.
No. Slurposaur.
Slurper. What does that mean? What are you talking about?
Slurposaur is a film technique, or at least it's the nickname, like the official, unofficial name for a film technique.
Okay.
That was popular primarily in like the 50s and the 40s. You occasionally see it later than that, but that's when it was in its heyday. But it's a film technique that revolves around using real animals as monsters or like animals that thing isn't. So
Okay.
occasionally it's used in horror. Well, not a great example of it. Night of the Lepus technically does it. The bunnies in that are technically Slurposaurs. Another example of that would be something like Tarantula. You know, the one where it's very famously just a tarantula and they blew it up to insane sizes.
Yeah.
But generally when you see it, though, it's an animal and they've done it up with some makeup to make it look like something else.
Okay.
Now, the reason I said we're going to be pretty horror adjacent this season is because there are some examples of Slurposaurs in horror films.
Mm-hmm.
But the best examples of Slurposaurs tend to be in like more like science fiction films that feature like monsters and creatures and weird animals,
Okay.
stuff like that. And so that's kind of what we're going to be looking at with my category this season. Now, my justification here is that when those films came out, they were pretty terrifying. Right? Because those films were the equivalent. It's of like having a CGI monster, you know, in a modern film, like an action film.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, look, a velociraptor, you know, that kind of thing. So we are going to be a little bit adjacent in some not traditional horror movies and more into like science fiction adventure films from the 40s and 50s.
Okay.
I am choosing those because I do think they are better examples
Okay.
of the genre. Um,
Slurposaur. What a dumb name.
Slurposaur. And to be honest, I'm going to pick probably the most famous Slurposaur example films.
Oh, okay.
To the point where if you look up the term Slurposaur, you're probably going to be able to figure out what movies I'm choosing.
Cool.
So, Bob, don't look up the term Slurposaur.
I don't think I want to Google it because it also sounds like I could see some weird stuff I don't want to see.
It does sound kind of weird.
What a weird fucking category.
I know. I'm so excited, though. It'll be cool.
I'm interested.
With that being said, I have to say this right now because it's in some ways an issue for me, but I know it's definitely an issue for other people. Well, I think that the technique of Slurposaurs is really interesting, and in some ways it's very funny. Like having this real creature that isn't intimidating at all be something you have characters be like afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very funny. And I just think that technique in general is really cool because it's like a very cheap way to do like
Monsters and stuff.
monsters.
Yeah.
Like it's from a time period primarily when you wanted to have a monster, you had to do claymation. And it
Yeah.
was like, this is the cheap alternative that doesn't look great, which is, it's cool. Not great, but it's cool. However, the real issue with Slurposaurus is that there's a lot of animal cruelty
Oh, that sucks.
with some of these older examples, just because like sometimes you have animals with like costumes on,
Mhm.
and this film is old enough where it's like I don't know how like much you cared about that animal's well-being when you were doing that, or oh look, let's introduce two of these Slurposaurs together and have them fight.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
So in some ways, that is also going to make these films maybe kind of horror related in the worst way
God.
possible. So, well, I don't think these films are going to be like super horror related. There is kind of like that unpleasant side to it.
That sucks.
So I wanted to
man.
mention that now because I think it's a cool thing for us to explore, especially because it is something featured in a lot of like really cheap B-movie horror films from the 50s and 60s.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But there is some issues with it as a category and as a like a technique. So I think that's an important thing to know going in. So again, if you're not comfortable with that, be careful with whatever episodes
Yeah.
we're watching. Obviously, we'll tell you about it. So if you're
For
worried
sure,
about
yeah.
it, you don't have to watch the movie. But yeah, I thought I should bring that up.
Damn. Okay. That sucks, man. That makes me upset.
I mean, it's before like there was animal cruelty laws in film and stuff,
Yeah, no.
and in general.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it's not like horrible, but there is some bad examples. All right. On that note, though, it might be a little depressing, but I think we're gonna call it a day.
Yeah, man. Holy shit. We're fucking done with season 4. 5.
It's 5.
This is 5.
Yep.
God damn it. This is 5.
We got season 6 to look forward to.
Holy fuck. I can't believe it.
Usual spiel, I guess. Go check us out wherever you get your podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcast, other places. We're also on YouTube. It's great to show us some love there. Subscriptions, likes, stuff like that. It's also one of the major places you can communicate with us at. You can do that in the comment section on a specific video if you want to talk to us about something specific in that episode. Or you can go over to X and go X over at Bob at Beware the Board
I'm going to choke you out one of these days on the podcast.
and give him a nice little category suggestion maybe for next season.
Yeah. Like Ben said, check us out on Twitter. It's called Twitter. I'm not going to call it X.
Did
No
you
one's
like
gonna
my
call it
joke
X.
of that? Like, if Twitter has tweeting, X has Xing.
Stupid. But check us out on Twitter at Beware the Board. It's where I post updates about the show, information about the show. Basically, if there's anything you want to know about the show, it goes on our Twitter. On Mondays, I post a spoiler post for that Friday's episode, which is basically a hidden movie cover that you can reveal so you can see the movie before we do, so you can watch it without getting any spoilers. Then on Fridays, I post a link to the episode with maybe a meme if something was funny. So if you ever missed an upload or want to know when something went up, there's always a link on our Twitter. Last thing, check us out on TikTok at Beware the Board and on YouTube Shorts. We're going to be putting out more short form content now that we're done with all this side content for a while, at least till the end of the month. Yeah, so check us out there.
See you guys next season.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next season. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the outtake section for this wrap-up episode of Beware the Board. I hope you're enjoying our wrap-up so far. This next season will be very interesting with our categories. I think they're a bit wild, but I think it'll be really, really fun. The wrap-up has a different sort of outtake section. Basically, I'm going to go through and pick an outtake from every single episode of the season and compile it into one big, great thing for you to listen to. So without further ado, let's get into these outtakes. Outtake number 1, Pitch Black. Oh my god. That's oh my god. That's so Holy shit. What the fuck? How does I was about to make a statement like this isn't really a horror movie. That's fucking scary. Outtake number 2. I know what you did last summer. What the fuck? What is in there? No way, bro. Don't open that. I wouldn't open it. I would freak the fuck out. Oh, crap. That's like my worst nightmare.
The dead guy in your trunk or crabs?
Both.
Because that clip is 100% you going, what's in there? Crabs!
Outtake number 3. I still know what you did last summer. Who is that guy?
I don't know, Bob. Who is that guy? Who is that guy, Bob?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Was that Jack Black? I didn't recognize
How
him with
did
the
you not
shittiest
recognize Jack
no,
Black?
it's the shittiest dreads on his head, bro. Why is Jack Black in this? Is Jack Black gonna die?
He's an island man. He sells weed.
What is he doing in this movie? Outtake number 4. Piranha. This looks real cool, though.
No, it does.
Oh, what the fuck is that? I thought this movie was about piranhas.
There's a weird fish thing.
That looks so cool.
Yeah, it's old stop motion.
Whoa.
Yeah,
This is a cool movie.
part of the fun of like big like low budget production companies like what New Line was, or New World, is they had all these props already, so it was really cheap to put together like a mad scientist scene like this.
Outtake number 5. Pandorum. Oh. Ugh. The fuck are those? What is that thing? I am not a fan of whatever the hell that is. It's really sick, whatever it is. Outtake number 6. Madman.
TP and the Boys sounds like a shitty band name.
God, I hate you so fucking much. Oh my god. Outtake number 7. Urban Legends Final Cut.
Oh, what a kidney's supposed to look
I
like?
don't know.
I don't think so.
Ooh. Nope, I don't like that. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like people seeing their organs outside of their bodies like that. That makes Outtake number 8. The Burning. But I don't know how sound of mind he is.
I don't think very.
Oh, dude, what is it with the scissors? I mean, those
Well,
aren't scissors; those are garden shears, but they're just big scissors.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
That's so you know how like Jason has a machete?
His is fucking garden shears?
Yes.
I don't like that.
Get ready.
The whole movie?
He just prefers them.
Outtake number 9. Alien. Oh! Whoa! I don't like that thing. What do these things have? these things have a name? Outtake number 10. Scream. Are you hitting on him or are you calling him a child? And if you're doing both, that's weird. Dude, Dewey and his boyish good looks.